If you're already a Scan Unlimited user and you don't use the product detail feature, then you're missing out on basically half the features of Scan Unlimited, because there's the one side that's about scanning, and then the other side is about being able to dig into the ASIN details. So definitely want to check it out, and in this video I'm going to provide kind of a summary overview of the feature and how to use it in your workflow. So let's go ahead and jump into this. So here I have a scan open, and of course the Melissa and Doug file. And the idea behind the product detail is that there are a lot of metrics that we provide in your scan, so like ASIN, ROI, and profit. But a lot of the times you need to get more information about an ASIN before actually pulling the trigger and deciding to source that item. I want to know that before I put that on my purchase order. So there are two ways to get to the product detail page. One is by scrolling all the way to the right hand side of your scan and clicking this icon right here. That'll take you to the product detail page. But a quick shortcut is if you hold shift and then just click on the row you want to look at, that will also open up the product detail page. And the loading takes a little bit to bring something out because we do pull in a lot of information, but it's definitely worth it to pull in the information, and let's see why. So starting at the top, that first column at the top is essentially the core details of the product. So you have the title of the item. If you click it, that will open up the Amazon page. The ASIN, the marketplace, the buy box price, and also the fulfillment method of the person that's winning the buy box. So in this case, it's $14.44, and they are an FBA seller. Something new is that we also give you a time and date of when the last price change occurred. So this occurred today at 3:30 a.m. And then the condition. On the right hand side, we had the Can I Sell button, which essentially when you click this, it takes you to the Add a Product page on Seller Central. And then there you can check if you're restricted. But new is we have now an eBay button. So if you do sell on eBay and as well as Amazon, this is actually kind of our first feature to even include eBay. We've been about Amazon this whole time. This button right here will bring up any eBay listings that match with that product. Everybody knows that sales rank is essentially a way of measuring demand of a product. So it's like this number within its category that tells you, okay, this item sells better than this other item. And usually you can put an estimated sales per month. Here's the thing though with sales rank. Essentially, sales rank could be like 100,000, let's say, which is not a great sales rank. The second one item sells, you'll see some Keepa graphs where it's just like a straight line up, and now it's like 10,000 rank. And that doesn't mean, the problem with that is that if you plug in 10,000 into the sales estimator on Jungle Scout, let's say you plug in 10,000 and we'll do, let's say toys and games. You're gonna think, oh, this product sells 420 units a month. But of course, that's not the case. It was sitting at 100,000 for, let's just say, I don't know, a month or two, selling about 30 units. But because one or two units sold, you'll get that spike, and then that's very misleading, and that can lead to over purchasing something. So that's where the averages come in. If you have a sales rank, like a current sales rank that is in line with the 30, 90, and 100-day averages, then you know that the rank isn't just a spike. It's something that's pretty consistent over time. And if you see that like maybe the 180-day average is very different than the rest, then you know maybe then it used to be let's say, not such a great product, and then at some point it became much better, but it held it for more than a month. So now you know it's it's much less likely to be a spike than an actual trend. So now let's head over to the Keepa chart area. About a month or two ago, there was news about Keepa putting up a paywall on the Keepa extension that used to be free for anybody that installed it. It was a Chrome extension, and it allowed you to see the charts on the Amazon page. They recently put up a paywall, so you have to pay to use their charts. Actually, you have to pay to use the charts and have the extra features. So for example, sales rank was not included in the chart if you did not pay the monthly subscription. So after that happened, we were affected by that because the Keepa charts that we have are getting pulled directly from Keepa, and so the sales rank data was missing for all of our users. But fortunately, we reached out to Keepa to see if we could work something out. I'm happy to announce that sales rank history is now back inside of Scan Unlimited within the Keepa charts for unlimited users. So that's really great. If you're already paying for Scan Unlimited, then you just got an extra benefit because now the sales rank data is back in the charts. So you might not necessarily need the Keepa subscription if all you needed was the sales rank data. If you're a free member, you still have access to the charts. They'll still be there. The only difference is that you'll just have pricing history data. You will not have the sales rank history data. The Keepa subscription is about $18 per month. So if you consider that, it might be the tipping point of whether you would like to upgrade to the unlimited plan. So let's move on to the offers component. So we've had the offers component before, but we added some new features to give you more insight on the offers. So the metrics that we provide inside the offers component include landed price, and for those that don't know, that's just the shipping and their price put together. That's more important than just the price itself. Condition of the offer, the fulfillment type, so whether they're FBA or merchant fulfilled, the seller name, rating, feedback count, and also their stock level. So let's kind of go into some of the new stuff. So seller name right off the bat is new. We still point out if Amazon is the seller, but now we also show all the third-party sellers. So you now have access to know who's selling at what price, and alongside that you also get the feedback count and then the rating. That's very useful when trying to figure out if you're going to be competitive for the buy box. Price is the number one reason, or price is the number one factor of getting the buy box. But if you haven't seen my very old video about everything to do with the buy box, I'll put a link to the video where I went over how the buy box works and like how to determine whether you're competitive or not. But so essentially, just like a brief summary is that, you know, if a seller has a very high feedback rank as well as a very high percentage rating, it's going to affect their buy box percentage a tiny bit, essentially because Amazon will favor them. Another neat feature that we have is their stock level. So essentially, that's the amount of inventory that they have available when you press when you try and add the item into your cart. Let's say you're an Amazon shopper and you add the item to your cart. This is how much it's saying is available. That's not entirely 100% accurate, but it can kind of give you an idea, like, you know, like this seller right here, music box, toy box, 4 in stock. That's fairly minimal. So like this person does not have that much stock. So you can kind of use that to help you with your sourcing. Hopefully you take advantage of the new offers metrics. So let's go ahead and scroll down to the last 2 sections of the product detail. So variation is essentially kind of what it sounds like. It's literally all the variations listed out, and we provide images But what's new in this update with the product detail is that we actually bring in the attributes of color and size. So before, we were hoping that users would rely on the title to determine that, but we realized that wasn't a very efficient way to go about it, because, for example, on this item right here, there is no attribute that says that, but there is 2 attributes here. So color, multicolor, and then the size was 1 size. And then the last thing is the product ROI calculator. This is very useful because if you remember, we just came from a scan, and you'll see right here the product cost was brought in at $9.99. So it already pre-populated the calculator so that you would see the ROI with the product price right now. You will notice that the ROI is negative now, because that scan that I ran was from I think about a month ago actually. So the scan was out of date, but the product detail will always be like the current price, the current information. So it also allows you to get updated information. But this allows you to kind of go in here and like look at maybe the 30-day pricing. So as you can see here, this is where, you obviously saw this is why I had a positive ROI, because about a month ago, it was actually selling for $17. And most of the time, let's see if I change this to 90 days, most of the time it is at about $17. So you can kind of see if I switch this to 17. Yeah, so if you switch it to 17, you'll see it's still negative, but I think it's because when I scanned it, it was around this time period here, February 15th-ish, where the product price was $20 at the time. So honestly, that's really kind of a good case study for why you should look at the price history on the Keepa graphs, but also like sales rank history, because things are always changing on Amazon. So you want to see if something's kind of volatile or it's a little bit more consistent. Volatility is not necessarily a bad thing. You can make good money, and there's huge opportunities in items that are volatile, but just keep in mind that there's more risk involved in that. So anyway, the calculator is a really good like what if tool. So like, what if my shipping cost wasn't 28 cents, it was 9 cents? And what if I got a discount? Let's say I got a 10% discount, and now I can sell, or I can buy the product from the manufacturer at $9. How does that affect my ROI? How does that affect my net profit? So these are things that you want to like think about, and then be able to see like how sensitive you are to certain changes. So definitely encourage you to use that calculator, especially when negotiating with your supplier, because certain things are going to matter more to you. We've always had the merchant fulfilled toggle here if you don't do FBA, but also if you do both FBA and merchant fulfilled, then you'd be able to see a little bit clearer. Like sometimes it is better to merchant fulfill something. There are products that the FBA fee is so high, and you can actually ship the product for so low. I had an item that I sold myself that the the FBA fee was like about $12 to $13, but I was able to ship it out of my warehouse for $4. So even though merchant listings don't get the buy box very often, I was able to price it way lower than all the FBA offers, and I did get buy box time even as a merchant fulfilled seller at that point. So definitely worth looking at your options. When you're done analyzing your product, you want to press the back to scan button. Don't press the back button on your browser. That will end up reloading your scan. So instead, just press the back to scan, and that'll actually take you exactly to where you left off when viewing your scan table. So here, as you can see, we were looking at this 9.01% ROI for that item, and it literally took us right back to where we were. So even if you're like on page 32 and scrolled in the middle of the page, it'll take you right back to it. So that's kind of the workflow, and I actually have a full walkthrough where I kind of jump into the product detail and back to the scan and then back into another product detail. I'll put a link also for that video I did about a month ago. I definitely recommend that if you haven't been using the product detail while sourcing. Like if you're just using the scan, totally recommend you using the product detail because you're kind of missing out on half of the features that Scan Unlimited provides you. Let's go back to the dashboard. So I mentioned that there was 2 ways to get to the product detail. The second way is to use the search bar at the top of every Scan Unlimited page, this thing right here. So the idea is that sometimes you just need to quickly search something, throw a UPC in there, search a keyword, and you just kind of want to check out the results that populate. So so that's the first thing to know about the search bar, is that it can take a UPC, it can take an EAN, ISBN, it could take an ASIN, and it can also take keywords or a phrase or something like that. So let's take, for example, we search, let's say we search Red Bull. That'll bring up a list of listings that essentially are associated with the keyword Red Bull. So now we actually return more results than before. We had a limit before, and we still have a limit because technically there's probably maybe over 1,000 listings with the phrase Red Bull associated with it, but we kind of give you the most relevant listings when you search a phrase. Now, if you search an identifier, so if you search a UPC, we're only going to give you listings with that UPC attached to it. And as you know, one UPC can be attached to maybe 3 or 4 ASINs. So you'll be able to go through here and choose the one that looks most attractive to you. The idea is that you're essentially just doing this ad hoc, one-time research of something. Of course, if you search an ASIN, you're only going to get one result because an ASIN is a unique identifier on Amazon, so you only get one result. So you can scroll through here and then find the item that you're looking for, and you can also get the information about the rank and the category while you're browsing through to find which ASIN you're looking for. So let's just say it's this item right here. I'm looking for the Total Zero 24 pack. So I just click it, and essentially it's doing the same thing as when you were in a scan. It's loading up the product detail page, and so this should look very familiar. You have all the information that you had from when you did it in a scan, except you just did a one-time request for an item. There is one difference when you do it this way, and that is that the product cost will be 0, and that's because when you just do a one-time search, we don't have your cost information to pull into it, so we don't know exactly what you're sourcing at. So you will need to manually add in what your product cost is. So let's just say my product cost is $20 for this, then I would be able to figure out, okay, my ROI is 63%. So that's the other way to kind of go about it. If you sell in different marketplaces, there's a drop down at the top of the toolbar, and that allows you to change your marketplace. So let's say I said to search in the UK. Just click the UK. Let me search the same item, and now we're going to get a list of items in the UK, and you can distinguish which marketplace you just searched in by the flags. So if you see the UK flag, then you know you searched in the UK. If you see the American flag, you know you searched in the US. And of course, in here, if you click into it, it will open the product detail page. Now, I opened it up in the UK on purpose because I wanted to also show the international features that Scan Unlimited provides. So you see that the buy box price is brought in pounds, which is the currency of that marketplace. But in the profit ROI calculator area, everything is in dollars. And the reason that is because in the settings page, which I'll open a new tab to show you guys what's in my settings. If I go into scan settings, you'll see that my default currency is set to USD or US dollars. that's affecting the product calculator. It's going to show everything to me in US dollars because that's my default currency. I want to see everything in US dollars, even though the marketplace I'm looking at is in a different currency. So it's doing all that live currency exchange calculations for you. So $24 converted to US dollars as of today is $31.29. And it even converts all the FBA fees, the referral fees, all that stuff. And also with the European marketplaces, you have a VAT slider. So this is just essentially your percentage VAT. So I believe in the UK it's 20% VAT. And so it will consider that there's a 20% VAT on the sales price. So that can help you with distinguishing what your ROI would be and profit based on a certain VAT percentage. So yeah, guys, that's an overview of the product detail. I hope you guys, if you haven't used the product detail, I hope you guys check it out. We'd love to get your feedback on what you would like to see in the product detail, because we're constantly improving it, trying to give you guys more information all in one place so that you guys don't have to constantly be switching between tools. So definitely check it out if you haven't already. I just want to thank everyone for your support. We wouldn't be able to be showing you guys Scan Unlimited if it wasn't for the users that use Scan Unlimited. So all the people that have talked to me on Intercom and through the comment section, I appreciate you guys. So thanks so much for your support. Have a great day. See ya.